Hello guys, I am back from another video and today we're talking about whether Deku had a kaiju quirk. So in the last video Deku, after training a little bit for UA, so after training they get to UA and had a really interesting first day. Izuku met up with his friends Todoroki and Ida, and not only that, got into their class, which is class 1A. So, Izuku met this kid by the name of Bakugo, which Izuku really didn't like, especially with his personality. So, Izuku showed off and basically, humiliated Bakugo in front of the whole class. So, yeah. So, after the class, they started going home. So, yeah. So, let's talk about what happens next. So, Izuku is basically getting ready for class. As Izuku wakes up, well, Izuku wakes up Momo. As Momo says, "Oh yeah, I forgot that we had class again." Izuku says, "Anyway, let's just go." As she says, "Alright." So, wait for a second again. So, after getting all of their things and getting ready for school, they started going back to class. So, this is going to be the last class of the day, where everybody's basically whispering, saying that the teacher that they're going to be getting teached by is apparently All Might, which Izuku already knows, including Todoroki, Ida, and Momo, because they were told by the principal already. So when they hear the sounds of rumbling, they see All Might, as All Might says this, "I'm coming to the door like a normal person." As they see All Might, everybody's basically cheering, saying that it's All Might. But Izuku, Momo, and Todoroki and Ida already know this. So, just wait for a sec. So All Might says this. "Alright, we're gonna start our heroics class, aka your heroics class. So, before we start, what's with a hero without his or her hero costumes?" So, they were given their hero costumes as Izuku gets his hero costume from a suitcase. Izuku says this, "Not bad." So, after Izuku is basically at the changing rooms, everybody is basically finished wearing their costumes except for Izuku. As when Izuku arrives, they see Izuku's hero costume. So when everybody sees Izuku's hero costume, they say, "Well, your hero costume looks nice." As for Momo, she says, "Well, you actually look really nice, Izuku, especially with the whole suit thing." And Izuku says, "Why, thank you, Momo." So when All Might is basically doing that whole raffle thing, Izuku was paired up with Momo. So wait for a second, guys. Again. So apparently you're going to be fighting with well, they're going to be fighting Bakugo and well Kirishima, which Kirishima is actually a girl in this one, if you didn't know. So yeah, so Kirishima is basically saying this. "Alright, let's do this." As for Bakugo, he says this. "Ugh, whatever, crappy hair." And yes, apparently YouTube allows crap and not some other bad words. God, YouTube, fix yourself, please. Anyway, so after they stopped talking, they started going into the building where, yes, they're gonna be the villains just like usual. So after they set up their whole thing, Izuku was told, and also Momo, that they're allowed to come into the building. As in come in, Izuku transforms into his kaiju form and just opens the building up like a god dang like Pringles can. Like he literally opens it like that. So Momo was basically on the top of his head, like literally on the top of his head, like right next to his ears. The students were amazed that Izuku is able to transform into that whatever the heck this thing is. As when the when Oma when All saw that, he said this, what in the, I'm guessing he has a similar quirk to like Mount Lady, but except more terrifying. When well Kirishima sees this, she's terrified. Like she was paralyzed. Izuku just grabs the bomb and touches it, and All Might says Izuku's team wins. Izuku transforms back. When they were falling, Izuku grabs Momo bridal style, as she says this. Izuku, this is kind of awkward. Izuku says, sorry, Momo. As she says, thank you for saving me, I guess. Izuku says, whatever. So, after they started going back to the waiting room, everybody's in shock. Everybody starts crowding around Izuku as they say, what the heck was that power? As for Momo, she was also praised. She has a bodyguard like Izuku. They were even jealous for Bakugo. He was enraged. As he says, that was cheating! I'm supposed to be one that's the winner. As Izuku basically goes up to him, and Izuku says, that's what you get for being a complete and utter villain. You don't deserve to become a hero. As All Might says this, Izuku, please stop. And also, that was overpowered. And maybe next time, please put a little bit of effort into your, in your mission. As Izuku says this, I prefer, no effort and, high reward. As All Might says, ugh. Anyway, alright, time for you to go now. Because everybody already did their things. So, yeah. So, as everybody starts going home, Izuku was going home with Momo. As she says this, hey, Izuku, I wanted to ask. As Izuku says this, what is it, Momo? As she says this, hey, Izuku, are you, um, 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 Izuku, as Izuku says, what is it? As she says this, what type of girls are you interested in? Izuku says, well, I actually like girls like you. As she says, really? Izuku says, yeah, you're sweet, you're beautiful, and you're quite smart. Izuku smiles as Momo starts, blushing a lot. Izuku says, oh, sorry about that, Momo. Are you awkward because of that? As she says, no, I'm actually quite happy. Anyway, let's just, get ready to go back home. So, when they arrive back in the mansion, Izuku goes straight back to his, bedroom so he can go to sleep. Because next week is his, or at least, the class's, field trip to the USJ. So, wait for a second, guys. So, when Izuku wakes up, it's the weekends. So, Izuku was basically started, training as usual. Where Izuku, sees, Momo. Momo says this to, Izuku. Hey, Izuku, that whole talk that we had, yesterday? And Izuku says, yeah? And she says, I wanted to ask, would you, would you, would you want to become my girl? Would you want to become my boyfriend? As Izuku says this, I'll surely do that. It means a lot to me because, ever since I was a kid, I was in love with you, Momo. And she says, really? Izuku says, yeah. Izuku smiled. Momo smiled. So, Well, apparently Mr. Yayirozu was watching this as Mr. Yayirozu is basically saying in the background, yes, 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 as he's basically saying to himself, finally, Izuku finally did it. Because, well, he wanted Izuku to marry his daughter. Because, well, because of his quirk being called kaiju and also being super powerful, mixing it with, well, Momo's quirk, well, it won't become powerful. So, yeah, that is why Izuku was adopted by him and turned well, into Momo's bodyguard, so he can make them get into a relationship. So yeah, so that's why. So yeah, so wait for a second again. So the next day comes, as it's the day that's where they're gonna be going to the USJ. Everybody's excited, including Izuku and Momo. So when one of his classmates basically comes up to him, and that guy is Kaminari. Kaminari says this: "Hey, Izuku, do you seen any girls that are like hot, or at least like, disciples of like, or at least like, um, friends of like Momo that are really hot? I really want to see them." As he starts doing that creepy face, as Izuku says, "Not in particular." And why did you ask that? As he says, well, just imagine the hotties. Just imagine the parties with these girls. Doing that creepy face. Izuku says, please just leave me alone. So, when Aizawa told everybody that they're going to be going into the bus immediately, everybody starts going into the bus. The go figure. Anyway, does that mean? So, after they get into the bus, they started going to the USJ. So, Izuku and Momo were basically talking with, Todoroki and Ida. While they were talking, Momo asked Izuku this. So, Izuku, what did you do back in the whole, well, heroes versus villain, well, um, well, training in in our heroes class? Izuku says, "Oh yeah, that's a part of my quirk kaiju. I love this monster. It also makes me extra powerful. Unfortunately, it has a really dangerous ability. It allows me to breathe out this poisonous gas. This gas is able to kill anybody with just one sniff. But not only that, my tails are also igniters, basically like a flint and steel. When it's in contact with the gas, it basically explodes like napalm. As when everybody hears that, they say, explodes like napalm. As for Kaminari, he says, what is napalm? As for Ida, he basically explains what napalm is, as he says, wait, what? As for Bakugo, he says, he has an explosion ability? He starts becoming mad because he was the only quirk user that has an explosion ability, and he doesn't want to be overshined by this guy, Izuku. So, when the teacher tells everybody that they're going to be going down immediately, they started going, they started going down as they see, well, the number, I can't remember, what number is, but her name was 13. Maybe like she's the number 13 hero or something, I don't know. Just confirm that in the comments. Anyway, just wait for a second. So, number 13 starts bringing them to the USJ proper, where she starts talking about how quirks can be used for good or for evil depending on their sides. And for Izuku, he looks around. Izuku feels something weird. Izuku thinks in his mind, it seems to be too quiet. a lot too quiet. Izuku gets his blade from his back as everybody sees a portal appear. Izuku says, "I knew it!" As for Aizawa, he says, "You knew what?" Izuku says, "It seems that we have company." As for Aizawa, he gets ready with his scarf ready. I meant his scarf in hand. As when villains arrive, they see the League of Villains. As Shigaraki says this, "We are the League of Villains. Now, we're here to kill All Might, include new heroes." As the man with the thousand hands on his body said that, the man with Izuku doesn't think that he has a head. It's just this this black smoke swirling around his head or whatever his head is. He creates tons and tons of portals as they were pulled into different areas. Wait for a second. So when Izuku gets off that little daze, Izuku sees that he's in a area for like water quirk users. Izuku sees Momo right beside him, but not only that, she's also on Froppy's on top of Izuku. Izuku says, "Oh, can you get off of me?" Yeah, she says, "Oh, sorry, Kero." She jumps off Izuku as Momo starts getting a little bit jealous. As she says, "Why did you do that, Froppy?" As she says, "I don't know, Kero. That was just an accident, Kero." As Izuku checks out the around the boat, as Izuku sees several water quirk users that are villains basically start coming to them. As Izuku says, "It seems that we have company." As Momo says, "Don't worry, I got this." She starts creating bombs, and for Izuku starts creating his claws. Izuku uses the claws to basically create makeshift weapons. Because while in the fight, Izuku got his sword stuck somewhere. It's probably in the entrance. So the villains start charging in and Izuku just fends them off. As Momo starts getting overwhelmed as one of them says this, "Alright, pretty girl. Now, let's see how much fun we can do with you." And for Froppy, she's getting ready to be let's just say surprise fun time. I'm not gonna say though. It's going to be really dark. Anyway, and maybe I should not make it 18 plus because my views. Anyway, Izuku starts transforming into his kaiju form. Izuku grabs Momo and Froppy as Izuku starts spewing out the gas. Izuku snaps his tails together as it explodes in a gigantic fury of fire. Literally, well, hurting some of them, but most of them were killed. Wait for a second. Because of that, Izuku literally defeated them all. Momo is basically saying this, "Thank you, Izuku," as Izuku said this with his mouth open. He doesn't need to move his mouth. He just needs to basically open it. Izuku says this, "You're welcome. Now, where's that guy? I want to make him suffer for what he did." His sharp spikes start moving a little bit, almost like a bug. Like they're they're not actually skin. It's more like plates of carapace, and every time it moves, it shows the muscle. As Izuku looks, Izuku sees Aizawa getting pummeled to the ground by the Nomu. As well, the villains, Shigaraki and what's his name, Konigiri, they basically basically start laughing, saying, "I can't believe this is the so-called the Racerhead getting pummeled to the ground by just a Nomu." Izuku starts getting mad. Izuku jumps over there ripping the Nomu apart, even destroying the brain. As when Shigaraki sees it, he says, "What the heck are you?" As Izuku says, "Your worst nightmare." As Izuku tells, and well, and Froppy Dubisky create a mask. So Momo creates a mask for both herself and for Froppy, and she throws it at Aizawa, another mask, as he says, "What are you doing?" As Izuku says, "You better put that on." As he puts it on, the mask, as Izuku just spews out tons and tons of the poisonous gas, as the gas starts leaking into, well, Shigaraki's nose, as he starts convulsing, his face starts turning even more paler. For Konigiri, his, well, face or whatever, it starts turning little and little, and then they almost die, but Izuku lets them live. The Izuku only used enough of it to basically knock them out. Izuku transforms back for well, wait for it. For Aizawa, Aizawa says this, "What the heck did you do?" Izuku says, "There's that's just one of my abilities." As he says, "Sure, did you just knock them out?" Izuku says, "Yeah. Anyway, use your handcuffs to basically just handcuff them. Now, I will be calling the UA teachers." So Izuku gets his cell phone and basically calling the UA teachers. As they arrive, they basically bring in the police, where they comprehend the rest of the villains that are, well, still alive. So yeah, so after that day, they started going home. And for Izuku and Momo asked this, "So, did that feel good?" Izuku says, "What do you mean that feel good?" As she says, "When Froppy really was on your chest." Izuku says, "No, I didn't mean it like that." As she says, "Fine, just make sure not to do that again, okay? After all, you're now my boyfriend." Izuku says, "Oh, right." So, when they started go back, when they started going back to their separate rooms, they started to go to sleep. So yeah, so I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. But before you leave, just subscribe for just subscribe so you can see more content from me. And also, tomorrow is going to be the episode where I'm going to be making, well, the brand new series called What If Deku Was in Infinite Stratos, which I was planning for a long time, especially because I originally wanted to be the second series was, well, of my I wanted the second series of my channel to be What If Deku Was in Infinite Stratos, because, well, at the time when it was when I was starting to do YouTube, I wanted that What If to be well, after What If Deku was a I meant What If Deku had a persona, the first one, the version 1.0, not the version 2.0, which is which is the redo version. So yeah, so just subscribe so you can well see content from me. So yeah, so I hope you like the video. Comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.